everybody, thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to be doing a cheetah or jaguar print, pretty much the same thing. We're going to need 3 different shades of brown, so our base is going to be like a light beige. Then we're going to do our dots in this beigey brown, and then the cheetah outline in this dark brown. So what we're going to be using is our homemade dotting tools. So I taught you guys how to make these tools in my last tutorial, and we're going to be using this today to basically make irregular dots for a cheetah design. You'll also need a paintbrush with a pointy tip. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a nail art brush, it just has to have a pointy tip. And we're going to need just a piece of paper towel with some acetone to wipe the brush off. And of course, our base coat, very important, and our top coat. And then just a piece of paper, or I have a paint palette for our paint so we can paint. So first things first, always apply your base coat. I use a L'Oreal base coat. It's just a base coat that I like. Remember, we always apply it to protect our nails, prevent from yellowing. So you're just going to apply from the base where your nail starts, right at the skin, all the way to the top. And do this on all of your nails. It's okay if you get it on your skin a bit, it's just the base coat. You can always just clean up around with your other nail, or feel free to take a Q-tip, dip it in some acetone, and then just wipe around. I'm also not the neatest person, so I'm doing designs that are fairly easy to do, and I know I can always take a Q-tip afterwards and clean up anything that I fumble. So once our base coat has dried, I'm going to take the light beige color. This is kind of like a sparkly beige. I really like it because it has a little bit of a shine to it, and we always apply 2 coats of a light color, especially a light color. I tend to apply 2 coats for my dark colors as well, but that's just so that there are no gaps from the brush strokes. Remember, never do dots on a dry base coat or any design on a dry base coat, because you will just end up fumbling up. You will ruin your dots, you will ruin your base color, you'll have to start all over again. So just be a little patient, wait for it to dry, and then once it does dry, you can take your dotting tool and start making shapes. Now, I like to just do a design on my ring finger and my thumb, just because the cheetah print is a little too overwhelming for me, especially because my nails aren't the longest. If you have really long nails, it'll look nicer on all your nails. But if you have shorter nails or kind of mid-length nails like mine, it's better to just do it on 2 fingers. Less overwhelming, more creative. It's a little bit different. So now that my 2-color base coat has dried, I'm going to take the brown, the lighter of the 2 browns, and just make 2 generous dots on your paper or your palette, wherever it is you're doing it. Again, don't put too much because nail polish does dry significantly quicker than paint. So we do want a little bit. If you ever need more, you can always just drip some more. Now, try to make it so that the polish isn't just dripping right off, it's kind of just on there. And then you're gonna make a dot. Now the good thing about animal print is there's no way to really mess it up, and I like to make irregular circles. So I'm not just gonna do a dot for a circle, I'm gonna do a dot and then another little dot beside it and maybe spread it out a little bit. That way it looks like a spot and it looks more like an animal print. Now if you have very short nails, you can use a thinner or smaller dotting tool like a bobby pin. If you want smaller, more intricate dots, you can use a bobby pin. I like the bigger, more extenuating, that's not even a word, is it? Accentuous dots. I'm an English major, I should know these things. And then just wipe it off and do the same thing on your ring finger. Now, don't pay attention to my pinky, I've already splotched it, but focus on where the designs are. So I've done my circles, and what I'm going to do now is take the dark brown, my darkest brown, And I'm going to make 2 droplets like I did with the lighter brown on my palette. There we go. And I'm going to take my paintbrush and dipping only the pointy end of it. I'm going to dip it a little bit, not too much, because I don't want to get big blobs all over my design. So I'm just going to take a little bit on the very edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do C's around each spot. So don't drag it like you would typically with a paintbrush. Do like tiny little dabs. That way it looks more like fur. It's more irregular and it goes on smoother. Go. And you can really pick any direction you want to go in. I like to do different directions for each of my dots. Just a little more creative that way. And the great thing about this is there really is no way to mess up, because they're supposed to look irregular. But if you feel that you have applied too much paint, you can always just take a a toothpick end and just scrape off any excess without having to start all over again. There we go. And they're starting to look like cheetah spots. Or jaguar spots, whichever you prefer. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this nail. There we go, and then just wipe your brush off on the paper towel with the acetone so that it doesn't ruin. It's always important to take really good care of your brushes, so wash it with nail polish remover that has acetone in it, just because you have to get all the nail polish out of the bristles. Otherwise what's going to happen is you're just going to ruin your brush. You're going to have to keep getting new ones. And then just make sure you twirl it into a pointy end and leave it vertically to dry, either this way or this way, it doesn't matter, so that it actually dries in a pointy end. So that's important. Now lastly, let it dry a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our top coat. I use an O.P.I top coat, it's just a little mini bottle, and you're gonna apply it to all your nails. Now, like I mentioned in the dotting tutorial, leave your design nails for last. So you can dip it once for a normal nail with just the color-coded nail polish, that's fine. But when you're doing a nail with a design on it, you're gonna have to dip it multiple times. So I dip once and do one brush stroke. Dip again and do the next brush stroke. Now the reason I do this is so that the design doesn't smudge, because if the brush starts getting dry during the application process, what ends up happening is the entire design smudges and you'll have to just start all over again. And this way, with a generous amount of top coat, you won't smudge, it'll dry and it'll seal in the design and it'll look better. So that's just a very quick way to make a animal pattern. Now you have a cheetah/jaguar thing going on. So if you like it, feel free to comment. If you have any other suggestions on how to do a cool animal print, feel free to post a video response and subscribe for many more videos to come. Bye!